Hello, I'm Sorospa. God dang it. Bringing you another episode of Gaming Archaeology with Earthworm Jim. As you can see. So, this is a game that, this is a game that I played a lot as a kid. Basically, it's kind of a weird game when you really get right down to it. I actually don't have a good frame of reference for how well known this game is, because for me, it's one of the bedrock games of the SNES. But I probably should have practiced a little more. But that's because I've played it a lot and have known about it for as long as I've known about the SNES. Whereas I managed to not hear about Metroid until Smash Brothers, so my perspective is a little bit different from a lot of other people's. But I get the idea that this game at the very least falls into the the Banjo-Kazooie category where, whoops, that was not a bounceable tire. Well, where it's just not super in the limelight anymore, I guess. And I don't know if it ever was, really. I guess Earthworm Jim was always kind of on the less well-known end of things. But it's a great game. Had I think a pretty good sequel. And I think never really made a good transition to 2D, like a lot of series. It is kind of a shame how it seems like a lot of series did kind of fall down when 3D kind of swept through and jeez. I'm not playing very well right now. Kind of swept through and changed everything about the gaming landscape, and I think that's a shame because 3D is not inherently better than 2D, but it was kind of something where at the time you kind of had to try because it was just too big of a deal to pass up on it. Of course, we can see in retrospect that obviously 3D games were not just a passing fad or anything. So was it the wrong decision financially to attempt to get in on that? Obviously it wasn't. But a lot of games I think would have come out better if they just kind of stuck to it. And I'm of the opinion that in big games, I think that 2D is kind of underrepresented in AAA, but I guess that's kind of remedied by the fact that AAA is just kind of one facet of what games are nowadays. But I do kind of miss stuff like Earthworm Jim, and I'm not getting much of anything over here. So as for the game, what it's like, you can see it's kind of a straightforward platformer with just kind of an unusual aesthetic, I guess you could say. There's a lot of secret stuff in this game, and you can see I'm kind of going for it in a lot of places, not really doing a very good job. But you can see there's something up here that I'm not getting. And since the game doesn't really talk about it here, basically, oh man, what I should have done is memorized the name of the villain. No, you know what? I'm not gonna pass this up. This will take just a second. Just a second. This is super professional. No, but I got it. This is how you prove If you actually memorize it, it means something. This is how you prove your loyalty to the Earthworm Jim series, by memorizing the name of the evil queen, pulsating, bloated, festering, sweaty, pus-filled, malformed slug for a butt, who is the villain, who is an evil alien queen with a slug for a butt. And basically, her minions. How do I get down there? There we go. Her minions had created this super suit, and they dropped it onto Earth. They just lost the dang thing, and then it fell on an Earthworm. Never mind. Forget that. This is stupid. It fell on an Earthworm, and the Earthworm, who is the hero, has now kind of gained control over this suit. So now the minions of Queen Slug for a Butt have to recover this suit, which means that they will stop at nothing to destroy you and take it back. And so that's the very strange story of Earthworm Jim, which I know about because it's in the guide. What I would actually love to do is include like scans of the comic or something from the guide, which I probably don't think there's a good way to include that in the YouTube video unless I know how to edit, which I don't. And also I think there are pages missing from my copy anyway. And I think the comic might have been somehow ripped out entirely. I'm not sure if there's any of it left. I'd have to check. I do still own the strategy guide for Earthworm Jim, because I was really into it. But yeah, if I was truly a fan, what I would have done is memorized ahead of time the name, the full name of Queen Slug for a Butt. That's what you gotta do. That's how you show that you care. And so I would actually love to show off more of this game. This one's probably going to be going on my list because I think I need to do something. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. An interesting thing is there was actually 2 versions of this game. One of them was for the NES, the Super NES, this one, and the other one was for the Sega Genesis. And the difference, the really big important difference between these two, is that the Sega Genesis one had an extra level that was not in the Super Nintendo version. Ouch. So, and that extra level was actually in the guide, so I knew about it. I knew there was an extra level that I couldn't have. I always wanted to see it, and I might actually, if I do a full LP, I might actually just go for the Genesis version so that I can see that level that I never got to see myself when I was a kid. I didn't even own a Genesis. Funny thing, I actually, wow, that was dumb. I actually went and purchased a Genesis last week, so it's still coming in the mail. So for the very first time, I will actually physically own a real, honest-to-God Sega Genesis. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I am going to have to actually build up a collection of games. I should actually start looking for like retro shops. I mean, you can just always get this stuff on eBay, but there's something about like actually going to a store devoted to like old games that would just make me feel really happy to go to. I think I'd actually have to go to Seattle. Maybe I shouldn't be revealing where I live to the internet, but yeah, I'm in the general area of Seattle. I'm sure I don't have enough people watching to have a stalker yet, so, you know, that's the important thing, really. Alright, Andy Asteroids. Asteroids? Kind of went for a weird accent thing there, and I don't know why. So Andy Asteroids is this mini game in between each level, and you have to beat the evil Psy-Crow in a race. And if you lose, you actually have to fight him. So we want to avoid that. So basically, you collect these bubbles, and nope. Can I? Yeah, there we go. I think you can actually get an extra life, or maybe it's a continue if you get enough bubbles. You know, I'm usually not into like the voice clips on old SNES games, but I like Earthworm Jim's voice. I actually wonder, like, it's not something you think about because the voice isn't really a feature of these games, like a major aspect, but like someone voice acted that, and I actually don't know who is responsible for the voice of Earthworm Jim. That's something I should look up at some point. There we go. I almost messed that up. I do think that there's some pretty tight rubber banding in this race, so you really don't want to lose your lead late in the game.
Groovy. Groovy.
Oh yeah, you can just make him say groovy as many times as you want. Alright, now we are going to Heck. Planet Heck, specifically. Because of course there's a planet Heck. Actually, you know what I wonder is, I don't know if there's actually a story. Those things freaked me the fuck out as a kid, seriously. There's really no explanation of how you get from place to place. Like, sure, maybe you're just going places, but like, we're on a different planet now. Gee. Creep me out. There we go. I want to be able to see him coming. That's fire. I think I'm alright. And of course, Planet Heck is ruled by a cat. You can see him in the background. I can't remember his name. Is he just named Evil the Cat? I think he might just be named Evil the Cat. But don't quote me on that. Man, I've really lapsed as an Earthworm Jim fan. Like, I should know this stuff. But I don't know. I guess it's a funny thing. Like, I feel like as a fan of things, I kind of go for breadth over depth. I don't really become like a fan with a capital F of anything. I just like a lot of things. I'm not the kind of person who really gets like super into one particular thing. It just feels like I'd miss out on too much if I was just really. Can we do this? Can we do this? I don't think we can do this. I've clearly messed it up somehow. Ah, shit. I forgot about that part. Gotta take a leap of faith. Man, I'm glad I got that. Those things are surprisingly not that reactive to being shot in the face, actually. But yeah, so like, I keep thinking like maybe I should like join like a community or try to kind of zone in. Ugh, I just did that, didn't I? Kind of like zone in on a specific thing. Like there are a few things I could really dedicate myself to the fandom of. But that's the problem, is that there's too many things. How how would I choose? You know, like Earthworm Jim, or Ape Escape, or Toho, or Lemmings, or like Undertale. Okay, I guess I was for a while kind of into the Undertale fandom, but you know, not for a really long time. But I guess that's a special exception, because that was just shit. I'm having a moment here, all right? Good lord. Don't go after them with the whip head, because that does not have the range to deal with these things. There's one over there, isn't there? I just know. I kind of want health. I'm not dealing with it. So I guess the propeller thing, you actually need to like mash. I think that's like a full heal, isn't it? I want it. I want it. There we go. Okay. We're good. Try not to run into blatant spikes. But yeah, what I do like about the aesthetics of this game is it's very detailed. Yeah. Of course, there's lawyers in heck. It's very detailed, and it uses that detail to do stuff that you don't normally see in video games. It really feels like Earthworm Jim comes across as a really kind of twisted cartoon. You could almost see this on like Adult Swim or something. Although I believe that there was an Earthworm Jim cartoon, and I think it did end up being a kid's cartoon, but just because video games had to be for kids. But I mean, I guess demographically it had to be for kids, but I really wouldn't call Earthworm Jim like a kid's game. Like there's clearly a different I guess view, kind of a different angle on it than just kind of being for kids, I think. Like this isn't the kind of thing you do. I mean, I guess I'm pointing out the obvious here, but this isn't the kind of thing you do with a game aimed at children. I really don't think that was what they had in mind, but you know, you kind of I guess on the other hand, there's the fact that, you know, I'm sure a lot of kids like me played it anyway. You know, I guess it depends on how much your parents care about whether you see depictions of hell in your video games, and whatever other weird ass stuff that happens in this game. But yeah, a big part of what I like about this game is just the freedom of doing really strange things. Like, it seems like whoever came up with this, you know, the whole, you know, all the ideas, the different levels and the characters and stuff, they really just kind of let their imagination go. And I guess there's something I really respect about kind of just letting that really kind of twisted and kind of unusual stuff come out. It's not the kind of thing that like I would create, but I mean, that's kind of the point, right? That's why we have a lot of people, you know, bringing a lot of weird ideas, and I guess that's kind of why it's a shame when you know, a certain medium can become a little too homogenized. is that you just kind of lose out on the really out there stuff that you just wouldn't have thought of. And so I guess on that level is where I really have a lot of respect for Earthworm Jim, because it is unabashedly very weird and also kind of kicking my ass right now. Come on. I could at least beat this. We've got 10 minutes left. If I do... No. Come on. You gotta give me this. You got to. Shit. I'm getting impatient. I'm gonna die. I'm going to die against an inanimate object. I don't know. I guess it's technically kind of animate, like raising is animation. There we go. Yeah. Shit. Okay, I think we're good. I think there's more of them though, and I really. Swear to Christ. Alright, let's do this. I'm pretty sure it's Evil the Cat. Man, that's a scary thing in the background. What is that? So this is pretty simple. This is the first phase of fighting evil, is you just kind of jump. And you might think that not much is happening here, but actually if you pay attention on the right, you can see I'm kind of chipping away at this pillar here. And that's really important. But this is also the first instance of suitless control. You're pretty helpless like this. You can basically just jump. You still have the cartoon eyeballs though. Okay, so now we have to fight all of Evil's 9 lives, naturally. Yeah. I think I somehow, I used a trick to deal with this, but I can't remember what it was. I think that the guide may have taught me a trick for avoiding having to but I don't remember what the trick was. I'm sure there was a trick. I think the trick may have been just to fire randomly like this. It was still pretty close anyway. I'm not gonna do that because that's cheap. And I've almost got them anyway. Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah. Yippee! I ain't afraid of no cats.
Groovy, 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 groovy.
You could just do this all day. Also, the soundtrack is super great. I actually do know who did the soundtrack. I think it's Tommy Tallarico, something like that. But yeah, seriously, it's another, the soundtrack is also kind of offbeat, but, really well done. I've always really liked this game's soundtrack. And see, serious rubber banding. He caught up to me as I was boosting. That's freaking relentless. How many things do I need to get a continue? I actually don't know. You probably have to get most of them. Yeah, he's right behind me. That's cruel, you guys. Can't you just give me this? Shit. There we go. I can't believe I didn't hit an asteroid that time. There we go. I think it's 50. I think you need to get 50 bubbles.
Groovy.
Groovy. Do we want to go for another one? I mean, we don't need to beat this one. I've got to let go of my completionism because it does not serve me well during an LP. Eventually, we have to stop. Yo, this game is actually honestly not that long. I mean, I could probably knock out an LP of this in 3 days or so. I guess if I am gonna do an LP, like I shouldn't like stop in the middle of a level. I don't know. I guess I won't worry about it. But yeah, in case you're wondering, these guys are invincible. Man, that's a tough cat. Shit. Yeah, that's what I get for rushing. I think there's a little bit to be desired with the camera here, because you can see it kind of suffers from the fact that when you run, most of the screen is actually behind you. I can see that they've definitely, I think, tried to go for like smoothness, and kind of things looking good in the frame, but it does kind of detract a little bit from being able to see what's ahead of you. I guess that's my one kind of minor criticism of this game. It's not a huge deal, but you do kind of have to take it a little slower. And I don't know, maybe that's even the intention. I don't know, but I think it would benefit from actually being able to see ahead a little bit more as you're running. But I guess it's not a big deal because you don't usually have much cause to rush ahead anyway. Oh my god, this is so great. Ah. Come on. Wait, actually, hold on. Yeah, extra life. Seriously, I love the giant hamster. And now we have everyone's favorite part of this game. See, you have limited air, and if you bump the walls too many times, then it breaks and you die. And it's super stressful and super tense. And it's good. That's my thought on it. Ouch. And that's not the only one, of course. What? I think that is this the right way to go? Nope. That was, I don't know what I expected. There we go. Now we go right. Like someone who's actually putting a little bit of thought into where they're going. Not that I'd know what that's like. Alright, let's do this. But you can fill up these little things here. So that's good. Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race unless you drown. No. Maybe I should get out the guide and find the maps. No. No. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. I think this is probably a good place to stop. Whew. I miss idle animations too. That's pretty great. So I've actually, for my next episode, I think I'm gonna move Crash Bandicoot 3 up. Because I have a few Crash Bandicoots to do, and I haven't actually gotten to any of them yet. There's a certain point where we're just gonna have a big string of sequels, it looks like. I don't know if that will be boring or not. But yeah, so next up, I think probably Crash Bandicoot 3. So I hope to see you there.